What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Demon Reads Comics. So today we're going to finally do I want to say it's the last deluxe edition of Saga. This is Saga Deluxe Edition Book 3. And, as much as I've been enjoying reading these, they read so much like a soap opera that I'm kind of over it already. So this one collects, hold on, before I go any further, like I said, this is Saga Deluxe Edition Book 3, published by Image Comics, and it's written by Brian K. Vaughan and artist by Fiona Staples. Oh, and before I go there, it is sewn binding. This one's a little bit different though, because the other ones that I've been doing were straight, and this one's kind of has that eye actually. But this one has 464 pages, and it collects issues 37 through 54. I believe they're already at issue 72. So they have enough to do another deluxe edition. I'm not going to collect it anymore. I'm going to pretty much start reading the rest of it through just online, because I found a place where you can read it for free. So I'm not going to collect this anymore. Don't get me wrong, this story is nice, but it's not intriguing to me to the point where I'm like so invested in it. It's just dragging along so much that I'm kind of over it already. This one's a little bit nice though, because okay, the first book, it was nice, it was a good read, but it was a slow burn. The second one I actually liked because it was about loyalty, about self-growth, about them learning how to, them getting separated and getting back together. This one's kind of different. It deals a lot with death. And what I mean by that is people that I don't want to give too many spoilers, or I don't want to give spoilers at all, but people that been following these people and that of, some people start dying and you're like, Jesus Christ, that sucks. And it deals a lot with that. And now these, I guess you can say Alana, Marco, and Hazel, instead of them being split up and trying to get back together, they go on an adventure all together, themselves. And you start finding out things about Hazel more and more, which I guess you can enjoy. But it's not just the story about Hazel anymore. Like the first one was about Alana and Marco and them, having a child and them being them. But it just takes so much of a tangent. It goes to like Robot, the Prince Robot, the Will, the Brand, the Stock. Like it just does so much stuff. I guess I know why they do it, but it's just like, oh, come on, just finish it already, And I know they're going to finish it at like issue 107, so they still have a ways to go. But yeah, like I said, I'm done. Anyway, so let's go ahead and crack this open, flip through the pages, and we'll talk about the story a little bit more. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and crack this open. Actually, let's move it a little bit this way. There we go. I do like these end sheets, though, like the colors. But yeah, like I said, this is book 3. Like I said right here, it's writers Brian K. Vaughan, the artist is Fiona Staples, and the lettering and design is by Phonographics. It collects issues, they call it chapters here, but they're issues 37 through 54, and then the birth of Saga creators, which is just the extra stuff. But this story begins with Alana. She's already 5 years old. She has wings, and not only does she have wings, she has the horns too. And this one's a little bit different because in the last book, we find out that Elena is pregnant. I don't know. See, the more I talk about this, the more it's kind of spoilers for the last book. But in the last book, we find out she's pregnant again. And they're happy with that. But the thing is, they're on their spaceship. They just arrived back at this spaceship because in the last book, something happened. They're all finally together again. They find out she's happy. And you get introduced to a new character. But I gotta skip this one. There we go. We get introduced to a new character. When they save, I guess you can say when Marco saves Hazel and tries to save his mother doesn't want to come with him anymore. But there's another person that does. This one, they call her Petrie, but her name is Pet Reacher. And she's kind of a transgender Wraith. At first, you don't really like who she is in the last book. And this one, you actually start to get to like her again. And, again, you got Isabel. Isabel is another person that people fall in love with. I fell in love with the character because she's freaking awesome. She's a teenage girl. But I said this book deals a lot with death. I don't want to give away what happens, but people that you loved in the previous books don't all make it in this. But as you can see here, Hazel's up, she's grown up already. She's, 5 years old. She's already talking, understanding, what life's about. This book's still narrated by her. And what the premise of this book is, in a nutshell, is once they got back from rescuing, rescuing Hazel, the grandmother, Pet Reacher, they're kind of floating around in space, but they need to refuel. And in order to refuel, they need to go to the comet that's been in space called Fang. For those of you that don't remember and, have read the other books so far, Fang is actually homeworld to Sophie, which is the Will's, I guess you can't really say adopted daughter, but the one she saved in the first book. That's her homeworld. There's a lot of species there, different species that don't get along with each other, so there's always a lot of war there. I don't want to really say what happens with Fang, but it's a comet, and I guess you can say Marco, Alana, a lot of the people that you see there on Fang World, they can't be there long, so they have to be there, refuel, and leave. But what's cool is you got reoccurring characters again. This is Sophie; she's grown up already. You got Gwendolyn back. You got the Lion Cat. What I don't like, though, again, like the previous 3 books, is that Esperanto's all over the place, and I have to keep going back into my phone. I can't really enjoy the book. And so I have to come back, I have to stop, I have to type it into my phone and see what they're saying. I don't like that. You do get introduced to another character. This is when they finally land at Fang. And you get introduced to these, I don't want to, I'm just going to put it out there. You get introduced to this guy and his little family, but they're not important whatsoever, and I'm not going to give that away. This is nothing, actually. This is just Isabel, because she is a spirit, so she has the... I guess you can't really say she has the ability to make things appear like this, but it's not real. Like, look, he says taints. We're going to eat your taints. Like, what does that even mean? I'm just kind of flipping through it quick. But as you can see here, there's 6 months go by them being at Fang, because Elena's grown to be really close to these little things. But come to find out, I'm going to kind of flip through this pretty quickly. Come to find out that they can't be here that much longer. And then, you go back to the Will. The Will's still in here. He's looking for Gwendolyn because they separated. He's been doing a whole bunch of vile crap. And this is Gwendolyn's, our mother, actually. So, yeah, we get to know about her. And then you get introduced to these people right here, the March. Like I said, you get introduced to a lot of people, but do they matter or not? I don't want to say. I'm going to grab a big, chunk of pages and just kind of go through it pretty quickly. But, yeah, this is the Will being kind of doing vile crap that he shouldn't be doing. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. In a nutshell, though, that's not it. They're still at Fang, but there's a reason they need to get off Fang and go to a different planet. And that reason, and I'm sorry for people that have not read this, is something happens to Alana. And they need to go to a place that does abortions. But she's too far along to have an abortion. By the time she gets to the place where she's going to get an abortion, let me see if I can flip through it to where we're actually there. Here we go. By the time we get to this place where she needs to get an abortion, we're almost about halfway through the book. The reason she needs to get an abortion is because something happened on Fang. They needed to get off quickly. She fell back and hurt herself, and she might have lost a child. I don't want to give whether she really did or not, because even though she thinks that the child is gone, she has these spells that she can do, and only people from Wrath can do these spells. Not the Landfallen people. The Winged people can't do these spells, but the Horn people can. But she's able to do these kind of magical things. So in your mind, while you're reading this, you're thinking to yourself, well, is that baby inside her dead? Is it not? Why is she able to do this? It explains it. we're still here met with, Prince Robot, which is not a prince anymore. That explains that in the last book. But this guy is not wanting to do her abortion because she's too far along. She's 8 months along already, so it's third trimester. And he tells her, if you want to do this, you need to travel to the opposite side of this place, to a place called Badlands, and get it done there. And they go back to their ship, and they start talking about how, Alana wants to do this herself. And they come to an agreement that she can't do it herself. It has to be Alana, Marco, and Hazel, all three of them to go together to this bad place to help Alana with what's going on with her, because she doesn't know if the baby's dead or not. She doesn't know if she needs to get this abortion or not. She wants to figure out what's going on. While that's happening, Pet Reacher, or Petrie, stays back and I guess holds the fort down. It gets to a point where they don't trust her still, but she gives them enough, I guess you can say, like, trust to say, hey, if you guys are out there and doing this, hopefully you guys can come back and have an elixir to heal my hands before I leave. You find out a little bit more about Pet Reacher here, which I don't know if it's a good thing or not, because we get introduced to characters here and there, and do they matter? Do they not? It's kind of weird, but like I said, most of this, deals with them going to Fang, being on that comet, them leaving quickly, Alana getting hurt, then coming to this place and getting an abortion. That's in the premise. That's about it. I mean, there's things happen, plot twist, and character development. A lot of death in it. That's why I said this book deals a lot with death, and that's about it. Like, I don't want to give too much more away, especially the ending of this book. I don't want to give away whatsoever. But I mean, like I said, you get introduced to this character right here. These characters right here. This is a guy, a regular guy. He has relations with this half woman, half horse, and they end up having a child, which is this looking weird horse thing right here. And you don't really know why. You don't know if these people are, important or not. And in a nutshell, after you read this, you know something. This is weird. This is the thing that gets you thinking, like, whether she's whether Alana is her baby inside her womb is dead or not, because she starts, I guess you can do in casting spells, projecting what their son would look like. His name is Curdy. In the last book, you'll know, or actually in this book, you'll know why they named him Curdy in the first part of it. And so it's just so weird to me. Like, it's such a soap opera type of book already that I was over it. I'm going to kind of flip through this quickly so you guys can see. But it's just, I don't know, I'm over it already. I enjoyed, starting it, but knowing that it's still going to continue, I'm kind of done with it. Am I going to finish the story online? Yeah, probably. I want to see how it ends. But as far as, buying these books more so I can complete the series and keep them, nah, I don't think so. By the way, if you guys don't know who this is still Hazel, this is Gus, and this is, they call him Box, the square boy. This is actually the prince's son from the last book. But yeah, see, like, I don't know why do they even matter? I mean, like, I don't know, like, why, But yeah, that's pretty much in a nutshell what this is about. I don't want to give any more away because we get into spoilers. It's kind of hard talking about this kind of things because I realize talking about books, sometimes even just talking about them gives spoilers. And it sucks because some of the things I talked about here will be a spoiler for book 1, or when I talked about book 2, some of the stuff I talked about in book 2 will be a spoiler for book 1. And it's just so hard to talk about. And it's hard to talk about because I like getting books that are complete, because then I can talk about the whole story and know what to leave in, what not to leave, Because if I talk about each book individually, I'm going to start giving away plot points to previous things, and I hate doing that for people. So anyway, that's kind of where it ends right here. I'm not going to say if this is a good ending or not, because there's a big twist at the end. Something tragic happens, and I'll let you guys read that. But as far as that, to be continued, obviously. Like I said, this ends at issue 54, and they're already at issue 72, so of course it's to be continued. And then, there's a whole bunch of, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's written here, which I don't read this stuff whatsoever. By the way, that's Vampirilla. I don't read this stuff whatsoever, only because, don't get me wrong, if I was a fan of this book, I'd read this, but because I'm not, I don't care what they have to say. But I do like the little designs that they have for, Alana, for Mark, or her wings and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. This is actually a pretty cool picture right here. You got Marco, Hazel, Alana. I'm not gonna lie, between Marco, Hazel, and Alana, if you were to ask me what my favorite character was out of all these, because I'm kind of say list, like this is the end of this, because I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna buy any more of these books, so this is the last one I'm gonna do of this. But if you were to ask me what my favorite character is in all of this, I actually want to say the Lion Cat. The Lion Cat is just awesome. Marco has his, his downfalls. He's a good dad, but overall is he a good person? Who knows? I mean, in his mind, he's a very violent person, and he is a violent person because when something happens, he's a violent person. Hazel, she's growing up to be a person, but because she's growing up with so many different people, she doesn't know what kind of person she wants to be. So she does bad things. She doesn't, oh God, right? Alana, is she a good person or not? No, because she was a drug addict at one point. And I mean, I know that's part of character development, but still, like I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of her character. The Prince Robot, he goes through a lot. Can you kind of side with him here and there? Probably, but I don't know. There's characters that I did like, I didn't like. I didn't really connect to any of the characters other than Lion Cat, because Lion Cat was just there and stays close with Sophie and pretty much tells when you're lying. This is kind of a little short thing of Brian K. Vaughan, which is him, Fiona Staples, them working together. As you can see here, that's actually them, but they made themselves comic characters, which is cool. And that's the other leaf end. This also came with this book. Like I said, book 2 and book 3 came with it, but I don't know why book 1 didn't come with it. I don't know if book 1, when I bought it from Amazon, was an actual new book, or if it was a used one, that's why it didn't come with it. But yeah, that's the end of this one. Let's go ahead and do the rating for it. And I'm going to do... Okay, let's go ahead and cut out for the rating. Alright guys, so what do I think about this book? Before I give this book a rating, I'm going to do a quick recap of it. This is Saga Deluxe Edition Book 3, written by Brian K. Vaughan, and the artist is Fiona Staples, published by Image Comics, and it is sewn binding. So what am I going to give this book as an overall? Out of the 3 books, I really enjoyed book 2 the most, because it was such a loyalty thing of them, character development, them knowing who they want to be. And this one, it just kind of felt like the story dragged on more and more. I kind of felt like the story could have ended already, but they just want to keep doing it. And so I'm going to give this book a rating of 6. I didn't like it as much as I liked the book 2. It was just enough for me to like book 1. I read the story, it was nice. It was a good book, but it's not for me. I'm going to give it a 6. An overall story arc so far, like I'm obviously not going to be able to say, what the rating is for the entire story arc, because this is where this one ends. There's no other things to collect. So an overall story arc between books 1, 2, and 3, I'm going to give it a 6. It sucks because book 2 is a 7, but considering the fact that book 1 was a 6, this is a 6, and book 2 was a 7, I'm going to just have to give the overall story arc a 6. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me because they really like this story. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it, but I feel like it just drags on way too long. The art is beautiful. You get a lot of what you want in there. You get drug use, you get violence, you get character development, you get loyalty, you get all these good things, bad things, you get sex, you get nudity. There's everything that you can really think about in this book. Transgender stuff, everything that you can really think about. Not just transgender stuff, but transgender stuff, gay things, like everything you can think about, it's in here so far that I can really say. So that's a good thing, but why cram so much stuff into it if you don't have to, And that's why I think I wasn't a big fan of it. And so, like I said, I'm not going to keep these books. I finished reading this. I'm probably going to put these books up for sale and not keep them, and just finish up the the last few, not last few, but the last half of this online, and just keep pushing. The next book I'm going to do is called Carmen. If you guys want, I'll do a quick summary. I don't know if you guys want me to do this or not. I think if you guys want me to start no, I'm not going to do that, because I might change my mind. Something might come in. But so far, I think the next book I'm going to do right now is Carmen, and then Faithless, and then Sandman, and then Berserk, Preacher, The Boys, and yeah, we'll go from there and see what you guys think. If you guys haven't done so already, leave a like in the video. It really helps my channel out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments on if you guys love this series. If not, if you guys just liked it, what you guys liked, didn't like about it. I really like your guys' input on this. If you guys haven't, also in the comments, please leave recommendations on what I should read next. If I can, I'll try to pick up the books. If I have them already, I'll let you know. And if there's something that don't interest me, I'll probably, I'll skip over them. If you guys haven't done so already, please go check out my other videos. I know I've been getting a lot of views. I'm not saying a lot, like hundreds and thousands, stuff like that. But I know I've been getting views since I started this, which is great. I'm not getting feedback at all, which is cool. Like I said, this is more for me than anything else. But it really would help, grow my channel if you guys leave feedback. And also, if you guys can, subscribe to my channel. That way, my videos can get out there for other people to see, and that way they can make the decision on whether they want to pick up the book or not. As of right now, I'm hoping to do this. For the next couple books, or the next a lot series, I'm going to try to read, like, for example, if I pick another book up like this, like Saga 1, 2, and 3, and that's just all of them, I'm going to read them, and I'm going to do videos for them. But if it's like Saga 1, 2, and 3, knowing that it's still going on, I'm not gonna do videos for them, because it sucks that I come here, do a video for half a book, but we don't know what's happening. I don't like that. And so from now on, when I do videos, most of the books that I have are all complete. That's the way I like collecting them. I don't like getting a book and it's not complete yet, right? And so from now on, when I do a video for a book, I'm gonna try to do it when it's complete, so I can talk about the entire series, the entire book, itself, and everything. And for example, I know Sandman, the 3 omnibuses, I think the first book itself is the entire story, and then it kind of cuts off to different little miniseries. So with that being said, I know I can do, like, what I'm trying to say is, I'm not trying to do book 1, a video for book 1, and then I do a video for book 2, and then when I talk about book 2, it gives spoilers for book 1. I don't like doing that, because I don't want you guys to come here and see a video, and you guys haven't picked up the entire series, so you guys start watching my videos back to back, and by the time you already know what happens in book 1 and book 2, because I already talked about book 3. So I'd rather you guys read this stuff for yourself, enjoy it as much as you can. Like I said, I only say that because I was looking forward to reading this. I heard nothing but good things about this, but after I've read it, my thoughts on intergalactic space stuff is still, I thought this would change my mind, and it really didn't. It really didn't, because the whole space travel, going to this world, it's just not for me. I might give it another chance again. I know there's Ascender, Black Science that I can check out again. I might check it out, but later on down the road. So anyway, all that being said, man, I hope you guys really been enjoying my content. If you guys have any not really critical, but anything to help me, like if you guys have any opinions on how I should improve my videos, let me know. I'm doing my best here. Like I said, I'm using pretty much my phone, so I don't have like a video editing thing. I use my phone to record my videos. I have it, facing me right now, and then I have it, going down. And then I kind of edit my videos on my phone itself. I don't have a computer to do that. So if you guys have any constructive criticism on how I can improve my videos, let me know. All that being said, I appreciate you guys watching my videos, and we'll see you guys on the next one.